Good morning, guys. It's Thursday, and yeah, yesterday is a perfect example of why I do not brag when I go 4-1 or have good streaks. Oh, because yesterday's 0-5 and no excuses, but these games are close. That's what happens. So you feel great. Just the highs and lows of gambling. Looks everything looks good. 2-0 Padres, first three innings, and the first batter in the fourth. Oh, we're just cruising. No runs for the Cardinals. Musgrove looks great. And a couple ground balls that aren't hit super hard, but they get through. And then one ball's hit hard. And next thing you know, it's like, it's frustrating. So then the Padres tie the game in the eighth inning, 3-3. Looks like I'm going to have a chance to maybe get some of the props slash the Padres can win, and they don't. So all the bets lose. And yeah, it's frustrating. Obviously, there's no other way to put it. Just is what it is. But that's why, frankly, you don't brag when you're winning. Like it's just these things happen when you're gambling every day. Things happen. One thing I guess I could change if I'm critical of my bet yesterday is the hit. I like the hits bet. Maybe the runs was I don't know. It's like too much on the margin. I don't want to say he had to be perfect. Musgrove did for the bets to win, but I didn't leave myself too much room for error. So he pitched pretty good, but he's just going to miss the bets there. So it's close loss, but it is what it is. I have a different take on the Orioles than being frustrated about it. There's a couple things to be frustrated about, but my overall takeaway was it wasn't the worst loss in the world. I thought the bullpen, not I thought, I mean, obviously the bullpen pitched great. Not no debate there. Aikens, Soto, and Kimbrel all pitched great. Gunner's error to give up the sixth run and then we're down by 2 runs just couldn't get going after that. So it looked like potential, the magic was there when O'Hearn got the double, made it 5-4. But yeah, the main takeaway is Burns just couldn't put away Hernandez, and there's the 3-run homer. There's other things that go into it. Obviously, there's it wasn't great on defense. I get it, but I don't know. My overall take, probably because the Yankees lost, also is let's just try to win the game tonight. I thought the bullpen, like I said, was a really nice bright spot. Povich is pitching tonight. Feels like a really big game for us. So going to remain positive. We knew it was going to be a tough stretch here with the Astros and the Dodgers. They win tonight, then they get to go to Colorado, then back home against the White Sox. Feels really important. The Yankees are off tonight, so that's that on the baseball front. Because college football really gets going today, and there's so many games, I'm going to spend a few minutes. This is probably my number one piece of advice from a gambling perspective. College football, pro football in particular, please do not analyze the line movement. For the love of God, if you've heard me say this before, I'm going to be a broken record. It just is what it is. If you want to challenge me on it, please do so. I'm open to new information, but I am like 100%, 99.9. Like the line movement is impossible to understand. And the core reason for that is there's too much money being gambled in sports betting. Too much money legally and illegally, primarily illegally. So you can't, that's just unaccounted money. So there's just no way to track it. There's no way to track it. I'm telling you, if you start looking at line movement and you bet that way, and that's a big influence for you, you're going to get yourself in so much trouble. You're going to be angry. It's like there's just, I couldn't say it more clearly. Study the game or don't study the game. Don't study the line movement. Like, don't study the line movement. There's no way. If you just want to bet for fun, just bet. If you want to bet on a quarterback, on a team, on a coach, you don't want to put thought into it. Who cares, right? If you just want to find one factor to bet on, fine. That's way better than taking the lazy way out and thinking that there's a way to understand the line movement, that you're trying to get trapped, that there's reverse line movement. All these things that you hear are nonsensical. They just are. They're things that people say because they want to sound smarter than whoever they're talking to. That's what a lot of people do on a lot of topics. They bring up something that is hard to disprove. Either they believe it themselves or they're good enough salesmen to realize that the other person can't challenge them on it because it sounds right and you can't prove it one way or the other. So when a line moves, and it's confirmation bias, so you get the game right because the line moved, and it's just, I'm telling you, the number one reason is the illegal money. So that's the number one reason. That's always been excuse me, the number one reason why you can't track line movement is there's too much illegal money. The second reason you can't track it is who you think is tracking it. Like, it's not a regulated thing. Like, there's just no body that's in charge of tracking that. Yeah, the sure as heck the sports books, they internally track it, sure, but they're not sharing that information. There's no benefit to them doing that. Now you can say that they might put out misinformation. Sure, you might have people that work for these sports books telling you things. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's selling you something. They want you to bet. Just ignore it. Don't try to analyze it. Don't try to think about it. And then you always have the random people that just bet a lot of money because they just want to bet a lot of money. They have a ton of money. They want to bet a lot of money. There's no such thing as sharp bettors. There's no such thing as reverse line movement. There's no such thing, because the whole theory behind sharp money and line movement, and there's so many smart people that talk about this stuff, like otherwise smart people, um, but they're just either misinformed or they're doing it on purpose to sell something. But there's no such thing as sharp money. It's absolutely an absurd. It's absurd. Like, I promise you, this is my world. I lived in the world of making up sales, BS sales stuff to try to get people to think that you have inside information and that you're smarter than them. And the most sophisticated way to do that is to say that you understand line movement, that you're somehow plugged in and you understand where the money's going, and therefore there's reverse line movement. Reverse line movement would depend on you knowing where the money's going. So you're saying that you're looking at these statistics or listening to somebody telling you that 80% of the money is on this team, but then the line's going the other way. And you're like, well, then Vegas is trying. Like, think about how simple of a story that really is. But if you say it really fast and you say it loud, just like a lot of things, you can bully your way into, I guess, being right. But if you just stop for a second and listen to what somebody's saying, they're telling you that this conspiracy theory, this easy thing, like, how sophisticated do you have to be to look at reverse line movement? The most frustrating thing last year, listening to that stuff, because I know it's nonsense. I created sales pitches that revolve around trying to understand line movement because I know that people want to find an easy way to bet on football. How is there an easy way to bet on football? Whoever's listening, how many years have you watched football? How many games have you watched? Forget betting on it. How would it possibly be easy to bet on football? I could talk for hours about the baseball games yesterday, how the Orioles are this close to winning versus this close to losing. Same thing with the Padres Cardinals. It is, please, for the love of God, if you're listening, if you're going to continue to listen, then you owe it to yourself to follow one piece of advice from me, which is don't pay attention to why the line is moving. The line is moving and this is why the line is moving, just so you understand. The line is moving because money is coming in. Sports books want to adjust the line, their particular sports book, right? Their particular book, not where all the money is being wagered. But just, if you think about it, if you just want to use an example, let's do this and then I'll get out of here. If there's 5 independent sports books, right? 5 guys, there are 5 girls, however you want to look at it, and they each own their own sports book. And I bet $50,000 on the Vikings -3, and they're playing the Packers. And I bet it at that one sports book. And that $50,000 is an outlier bet to them. And it's Vikings -3. And the last thing they want is more action on the Vikings. So that's going to bump it up to -4 with the Vikings over there. The other sports books are not reacting to my $50,000 bet. It's irrelevant to their business model. So when you see lines in different places in different ways, and you're like, well, why is the line different over here than it is over here? That's just because there's more action with a particular bet at one sports book than there is with the other. That's just good shopping the lines, trying to find better lines. It's not one sports book saying that they think differently about the game. That's not how it works. It's all about how can the sports books even out their money so they can make money on the juice. And when they have too much money beyond the risk they want to take, which is a very small amount, once they get more money on one team, whatever their algorithm says, we have too much money on this bet. It automatically, it's not people sitting in a room doing that. It's automatic. That's why lines are constantly moving. Please understand that it's not a sophisticated scheme to trap the gambler. If you want to think of something as a trap game, that would be the initial spread, right? If you look at a game and you're like, man, it's week 8 and this team is way better than this team, and why is the line this way? They're making it too easy. That is legit. That is a trap game. Hey, maybe Vegas knows something we don't know. What's going on here? But as the line starts moving throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the hours, you get closer to game time. It's not the sharp guys coming through to get the best lines. I'm telling you, I promise you, I promise. Like that's maybe the number one reason that inspired me to create this company is how easy it is to trick people based on just your excuse is always alignment. I got the game wrong yesterday, but we were on the right side of it. Well, how did you know we were on the right side? Did you watch the game? No, but the line was telling me we're on the right side. All right, I'm done or I'll be here forever. It just doesn't exist. So college football starts tonight. Look at the games. Think about what you want to bet on. Do not pay attention and be like, hey, it was 6.5 on Monday and now it's 9. All the good. Who knows? Is it smart people, not smart people? Is it conglomerates of people? Is it people that are betting on a specific thing? Who knows? And who cares? If there's no proven way to understand why the lines move, excuse me, there's no way for you to know why the line is moving exactly. Like there's no way. And if you're gonna listen to somebody, that's trying to tell you why they know the line's moving, it's gonna go crazy. Like it's very simple. More money's coming in on a certain bet, algorithm clicked in, and they make the line more enticing to bet on the other side. That's all that's happening. It's forever. That's all that's happening. So, all right, I'm out of here. Did I forget anything? I don't think so. So, yeah, frustrating yesterday. See if I can bounce back. They play in the afternoon, the Padres and the Cardinals. I don't want the Cardinals to win because they played the Yankees. The Cardinals are just basically out of it. Looks like the playoffs are pretty much getting finalized as far as the teams that are going to make it. Not too many intense races. I'll talk about that more over probably Monday, see how the weekend plays out for baseball. Be here in the morning. Yeah, everybody have a good day. If you need anything, give me a call. If you want to yell at me about my reverse line movement, go feel free. I know some people believe in it. Not here to call anybody stupid. I'm just trying to help educate. So if you didn't understand something I said, you disagree with it, just give me a call. Reach out. I'm here. All right. Talk to you guys tomorrow.